Ladies and gentlemen, I am Tan Wah Piao speaking from London. Like most of you, I was born and bred in Singapore. Like some of you, I fought for democracy and was persecuted. 25 years ago, following an amendment to the Constitution, my Singapore citizenship was revoked. This is my 36th year in exile in the United Kingdom. It is a great privilege to be able to share my thoughts with you on this event which took place a quarter of a century ago. At the time of Operation Spectrum, 22 of our finest men and women were arrested without trial. Their crimes were no more than having the audacity to think differently, to organize independently, and to act defiantly against the injustices imposed by the state. Some of you may recall that at the time of Operation Spectrum, the Singapore government claimed that I was the mastermind of a conspiracy to turn Singapore into a Marxist state, and those detained were supposedly the co-conspirators. That claim was utter nonsense. Some of the detainees have already published their detailed rebuttals in books, pamphlets, and in the internet. I too have written my contribution. We remember the occasion not for reason of nostalgia or to settle old political scores with the powers that be. On this occasion of the 25th anniversary, we aim to address the politics of the here and now and to help chart the future of Singapore. The injustices inflicted by the state on the individuals, subjecting them to detention without trial and other degrading and inhumane treatment during Operation Spectrum must be righted, regardless of the lapse of time. This is not merely the crusade of those affected. This is equally the concern of all of us. In fact, the desires to bring about democracy and to abolish the curse of detention without trial are as old as the independence of Singapore. Although this demand is now more openly and boldly articulated than ever before, we are no closer to achieving our goal. This is because the political, legal, judicial, and cultural infrastructures that make those abuses of power possible are more entrenched today than it ever was half a century ago. Most of us, no doubt, had at one point of time or another been warned by our parents and friends that it was futile, even dangerous to criticize the government. The fact that such warnings continue to be repeated today is a sad recognition that in Singapore, the moral strengths of reason and justice are no match for the powers of the undemocratic repressive state. Yet, if we resign ourselves to accept this reality, Singapore will forever remain a third world country in the soul, even though we have the semblance of a first world nation. Admittedly, it is far easier to defeat a tin-pot dictator dressed up in military tunic than fighting for democracy in a place where the regime is armed with the full trappings of the rule by law, masquerading as the rule of law. The regime is propped up by a small class of extremely well-paid sycophants who uncritically parrot the wishes of their political masters and supported, no doubt, by a sickening slavish media. Ladies and gentlemen, to do nothing is not an option, as we will be subjecting the generations of tomorrow to the draconian laws of today. The only solution lies in our building of a broadest possible political coalition cutting across party lines to demand for democracy in Singapore. As a people, our common denominator lies in a constitution which has been perverted in the past half a century by a small but powerful minority. We need collectively to reclaim the fundamental rights to freedom of speech, freedom of thought, freedom to organize, and the freedom from arbitrary arrest. Our goal is ultimately to rejuvenate the fundamental constitutional rights of the people by first eradicating all anti-democratic laws, starting with the Internal Security Act, followed by the Societies Act, and then replacing them with human rights compliant legislation. With the aid of cyberspace and the social media, what was impossible to achieve in the past becomes more realizable today. We see all this happening the world over. It is my belief that the objectives to reclaim and rejuvenate the Constitution will receive the broadest political support from the people, as that is the only way to restore the full rights of citizenship to our people, so that we can all be free from the culture of fear and the culture of silence. Only then can people participate meaningfully in charting the future of the country. Ladies and gentlemen, once we achieve our goal, no political leader of the future will dare require an electorate to repent in the event of their voting out an incumbent party. With a rejuvenated constitution, we will be able to bind the future political leadership with the chains of the constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. This is Tan Wah Piao speaking from London.